Today I have with me Cristina Magro she lives in the UK now, from the UK, and she has a special profession. She's a coach for cybersecurity professionals. So welcome, Cristina.
Welcome, Herno. Thank you so much for having me today.
Yeah. And the thing was that you came up in a discussion on Twitter. That's how I found you. And at first I asked you for a couple of contacts that I could interview. And then I thought, why not interview you? Because, of course, you are not a cybersecurity expert, but you are involved heavily with cybersecurity. And that's interesting to see how this conversation will go.
Yes, very interesting.
How did you get to... Because you've studied a lot of things, but how did you get to coaching?
Well, I would say that how I got to coaching and how I got into cybersecurity are two separate stories that kind of came together at a very interesting time in my life. So how I got to coaching is a longer story, in the sense that about 15 years ago, since my career started in the business world, I've always been interested in psychology and personal development. And even though I was perhaps doing a different kind of work, a different kind of job, my very first job was in customer services, for instance, I always managed in the companies I was working with to kind of get involved with training and personal development and, helping my colleagues with mentoring, their personal development plans. So that was really a calling, a passion that I always had. And going forward in my career, I got more and more involved in this kind of personal development world. And eventually I was hired by Swansea University a few years ago, working for a European funded project that had the objective of developing leaders. So I was working with small and medium enterprises, with a team of coaches. I wasn't doing the coaching yet. I was not at that level yet, but I was seeing these people changing, transforming, developing, growing their businesses. And I thought, I want to bring the same change in people. I want to be able to do this magic. But it wasn't my time yet to do that. And one day I got a LinkedIn message, and it was the SANS Institute, which is one of the biggest, if not the biggest, the leading training provider in the world for cybersecurity training and certifications. And they wanted me to work with them. And at the time, I had no idea what cybersecurity was. I had no idea how I was going to cope in this world, or if it was for me. But because I'm a multi-passionate person, guess what? I was also passionate about computers and technologies. And it came back into my mind when I got my first computer and I opened it up and I was installing the new, all the new systems to be able to play my games. And I thought, why not getting involved in cybersecurity and with this company? Why not pursue this opportunity and see what it takes me? And it was a great decision. So I went to work with SANS, and I was thrown into the deep end of the world of cybersecurity. And SANS has this great ethos where they train their own employees to at least get a few of their very sought after and very, rigorous certifications. So I had the opportunity to pursue this certification. That, with my great surprise, I got one of the highest scores in the whole company. So I was like, oh. I'm quite good at this cybersecurity stuff. I like it. So yeah, I've been working with Sans since 2017. And after a few years, I realized that the passion for coaching and personal development was calling at me again. And with Sans, I had a great job, which involved also advising governments, military agencies, and corporations in Southern Europe and helping them figure out the right career paths for their employees. So I loved this advising element. I loved going into these companies and organizations and talking to them, asking questions, and find ways for them to maximize the potential of their teams. So I thought, why not joining finally all of my passions once and for all? And I took the plunge. I enrolled in an MA in coaching and mentoring because, of course, I said either I do this right or I don't do it. I knew that this was a passion, but it needed to become a profession. I needed the skills and the academic preparation to be able to be a proper coach. So I've been studying at the tender age of 35 years old. I went back to uni. And now I'm almost done. I'm doing my dissertation, and I've been having my own company since January 2020. And I've been coaching cybersecurity professionals since then. And it's amazing. And I'm living the dream.
Okay, so now you got some interesting topics that we can dive deeper into. Because you mentioned that you've been doing the work for them in Southern Europe.
Yes.
And you are born and raised in Italy.
Yes.
You went to the University in Milano.
Mm-hmm.
So why did they find you? Why did they ask you? Why did Sans ask you to come work for them?
So I think my imposter syndrome tells me that they probably Googled Italian in Swansea and they found me as the only Italian in Swansea. But that's probably not true. The reality of it is that up to that point, I had gathered a huge wealth of experience in customer service, account management, events management, sales and marketing. So I was the right package at that point for them. Plus, I speak Italian and Spanish. So it was like the perfect moment for them to find me. And that's how I like to think they found me.
I think it really sounds plausible. But this meant an end of your work at Swansea University. Is it?
Yeah.
What did that mean to you? What is the biggest thing that you learned there?
Biggest thing I learned there was how to build a business and run a business. And that gave me, that job gave me the bug for entrepreneurship and self-employment. I was seeing these people really doing incredible things and, creating work for Wales and for the country. And I really admired them. And also it gave me another bug and another nudge towards coaching, because really seeing coaching playing in all its power, it seems such a simple concept to sit in a room with someone else and answer questions, but the dynamic and the magic that happens in that room is phenomenal. So this is what that experience gave me.
I can understand dynamics. Okay, I had another question. I was thinking, what was it again? So you've learned all about entrepreneurship from your fellows, from the students that are there. So the energy is there, the vibrant of youth, of people who have all these ideas and don't know much about the world yet. So they just stumble into new things. And I can understand that is a really vibrant environment where you learn a lot and really get bitten by the energy and think, I want to do that.
Yes.
Too. What did you, and I can also understand, of course, that later on you decide that you want to go back to university as well to study. What did you what were the most important things you learned in this Master of Arts in coaching and mentoring? What you didn't know before, because you already were very involved with mentoring and guiding and talking to these people.
Yes, and I realized that I knew more than I thought I did doing the master, but what I was lacking was really the sort of academic, evidence-based knowledge that a coach requires. For example, this master is very focused on psychotherapy and psychology, so there were a lot of those concepts that I wasn't familiar with, and a lot of these tools and theories that I have since then incorporated in my coaching. For example, I created my own coaching model, which is based on cognitive behavioral therapy, existentialism, the person-centered approach, and all of these concepts I didn't know at the time. And I also, learned all about the ethics of the profession and, how to be a coach.
And you started in 2020, and you just mentioned before that you really love the energy when you are with this other person in the room, and you ask questions and they give you answers, and you listen and you learn, and then somehow they come to this beautiful insight of a new breakthrough.
Yeah.
How did the world change for you in March 2020?
Well, it changed. I'm going to be quite controversial here because the world for me in March 2020 changed for the better, because it was a moment in my life where I needed the space and the time to do an awful lot of things. I needed to get the business set up and running and growing. I needed to study for an MA, and I'm still consulting with Sons part-time, and I took a part-time job at Swansea University to fund my business. So this is a very scattered and busy life on the day-to-day, and the fact that I didn't have to commute, I didn't have to worry about being here and there and everywhere, it made things so much easier. And also the fact that people kind of got used to do everything online. I think it was a massive help for me. And of course, now, almost a year down the line, I'm feeling the kind of weight of the whole situation. I'm starting to feeling, the pressure of staying at home and the lockdown number 2005. But I have to say, the pandemic, I was very lucky. I just feel blessed to be able to do this, and the pandemic hasn't impacted me negatively in any way, luckily, up until now. Fingers crossed it won't.
Mm-hmm. How did you... Because I can understand that in the university, you learn about coaching in the traditional way. When you're sitting across a person in the same room, you also learn about body language and everything. How did it change for you while you're doing everything online?
It changed for me. It changed and it didn't, because I like the face-to-face interaction. But my dream had always been to have an online business. I wasn't interested that much in having to travel and having to be in certain places and meeting people face to face. First, because I am very shy as a person. Maybe it doesn't come across, but I am. I am an introvert, and that's what I've always wanted, an online business. So I love face-to-face interaction, especially in coaching, and I managed to get some of that experience in a one-to-one setting face-to-face. But the online, I settled into it very, very nicely. I love coaching online or on the phone or via chat. Some people don't like to, look other people in the eye and just write. Fair enough. Yeah, all about that.
Cool. And is the coaching of these cybersecurity professionals typical? Is it different from regular coaching?
I think we are all humans and we all have similar challenges, I would say. Similar challenges to other humans. So I don't think the industry influences that much the type of issues that I'm seeing and all that. However, I think cybersecurity professionals have very specific challenges because in cybersecurity, you are almost at war every day. You are there to protect, you are there to defend, and you are there to fight cyber criminals. So it's a very stressful environment, very demanding. Of course, it depends on the role that you are covering, but it can take the toll on you, and it can create a lot of stress in a person, this sort of environment. Also, the fact that there is a lot of pressure on cybersecurity professionals to gather certifications and to gain a certain technical knowledge. So I'm seeing a lot of, for example, cases of imposter syndrome where people never think they have enough certifications, or they never think they are technical enough or skilled enough to be covering a certain role. So I've been working with people through that a lot. So yeah, I've seen very specific challenges and very specific issues, but yeah, we're all human at the end of the day.
Yeah, of course. But I can imagine that the typical ideas, like you mentioned before, you're at war against these criminals who want to break into the system.
Yeah.
Also, I think that there's this stigma that these people are in a dark room, somewhere in the basement, and doing their secret stuff. And they are. I was talking to let's see, what was the name? I forgot the name. Kim Crawley, and she she's a lot on the dark web doing research there for banks. So then you are in these environments online where other people don't come, right? So it is. I can imagine it is a special challenge, and I think I've been working with coaches quite a lot in my career, and I always, and also business owners. I also talk always about having a great focus, finding the right audience, finding the right people that you want to work with, and being as specific as possible. Because the good thing is that you will. The scary thing, of course, is that you will rule out a lot of people who you can't, who you won't serve, who you won't coach, and people who are coaches in general want to coach everybody.
Yeah.
But of course, you have the advantage that just these people who see this is me, right? I'm a cybersecurity professional. This is for me. They really grab it. They really say, okay, this is the coach for me because she's really specialized in my terrain, in my profession. So I really love the idea of how you've set up your coaching business specifically for these cybersecurity professionals.
And I mean, it was, I mean, as you said at the beginning, I was very tempted to say, I'm a coach. I want to coach everyone. I want to help the whole world. I'm here. Just, come and tell me your problems. But I really felt like I had an insight into this industry, and I really had a desire to help the cybersecurity professionals, having seen firsthand what kind of challenges they face, and also what's at stake. I really want to support these people who are there for us, keeping the world protected and making the world a safer place. So I really felt compelled to their mission, and I kind of made that my own mission at the same time. And also because, I could relate to these sort of challenges and to this sort of experiences. Yeah, so that's why I made this decision. I mean, I've been to the same conferences these people have been. I fell in love with the culture. I fell in love with the people. I found some amazing people in the years I've worked with Sans. So it's been a very natural choice for me in the end.
How big is this world?
What do you mean? How big is this world?
Cybersecurity
Oh, it's
world.
immense. It's immense because, there isn't only what we think about when we think about the word cybersecurity. We maybe think about the hacker, with the black hoodie and the laptop, but that's just, a common stereotype. But cybersecurity is a wide industry that encompasses not only attack and ethical hacking and penetration testing, but it also includes cyber defense, forensics, privacy auditing, security awareness. So there is like a wide range of professionals that are part of the cybersecurity industry.
And so you coach people worldwide now?
I do coach people worldwide. And I actually got my very first American client recently, so I'm very, very proud of that. I'm finally, going across the ocean. But of course, the business is growing very organically. I'm not one for the hard sale. I'm really enjoying to see what kind of people I am attracting amongst my clients, and I am super happy with the kind of people that I'm talking to. So my clients are mainly based in the UK, Italy, Spain, Portugal, and now the US.
What is the biggest? What part of the world is mostly involved with cybersecurity? Let's put it that way.
No, I think cybersecurity is widespread. I don't think there is a part of the world that is most involved with it. I think countries have different maturity stages in their cybersecurity infrastructure, but eventually all the countries are now waking up to the need of reinforcing this infrastructure, because the cyberspace is becoming the new space for conflict, and countries need to protect themselves. So even though there are countries that are more evolved in this sense, that have more initiatives, that are developing also the new talent, like we've seen, like SANS is doing in the US, but also in the UK with their programs for school children and young adults. But all countries are waking up to that and making provisions.
What countries are ahead?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't want to do a like a ranking.
That's okay. That's okay. So these cybersecurity professionals, do you take them in your own developed coaching model? Explain us a little bit about how this model works, what you do.
Well, the model is very simple. I basically, have an initial conversation with people, see what kind of challenges they're going through, what kind of issues they want to bring to the coaching. I see if we are compatible, if it's something I can help them with, or if it's something, I don't know, more deep-rooted or a specific issue. For example, I don't do pure career coaching. So if they need a CV revised or their LinkedIn profile revised, I'm not the right person. So after that, we start working on their issues, and I try to get an insight as much as possible into their reality. into their internal and external reality. So I want to really understand who they are, how they think, what they believe, and how that plays in everyday life for them. And then we start, analyzing all these beliefs and thoughts and see what's actually helping them and what's actually, putting obstacles in their path. And from there, we start to develop a plan going forward, but if it's appropriate for what they want to achieve. And I ask them to reflect a lot, both during the session and between sessions. That's definitely part of the model. So it's like 6 steps: creating rapport, developing insight, developing awareness, reframing thoughts and beliefs, planning ahead, and reflecting.
Wow. And I can imagine that reflecting is maybe one of the most important parts.
Yes, it is. It is very important, and I really encourage them to keep thinking, even when our time, which is limited, it's only an hour, either bi-weekly or monthly. I really encourage them to keep reflecting also when they are not with me. But I know that comes naturally to them after a few sessions, after a few questions that kind of stuck in their head and start making their way into their neural pathways. They'll keep reflecting. But yeah, it's very important, as you say.
You have in your handle on various social media
channels.
You already know what I'm going to ask.
I do.
Lady in the middle.
Yes. Okay. So here it's where I this is the silly side of my personality, because Lady in the Middle is basically a play on words on the man in the middle attack is a very common, attack to a computer, to a system. So I named myself the Lady in the Middle to kind of symbolize the very peaceful attack to a person's mindset. So yeah, this is the silly side of me, and I like to be myself and to carry that into the business as much as possible.
Yeah, I think that's really important. You also had a conversation with, I forgot her name, for your own episodes on YouTube, the lady with the mental health issues.
Yes.
And and because the way that she described it, because it was all about organically starting the whole movement of mental health care for these people in cybersecurity, and it all started from herself by sharing how she felt, what mental issues she went through, and then giving these presentations. I think that. Of course, this could be in any scenario, any market, any niche that you can think about. This is an issue, but I can also imagine that because in cybersecurity you work a lot online, you're a lot of focused in yourself, thinking about what's going on, and you're not really meeting people when you're investigating. You're just in the online world. That these mental issues are more common. Is that what you found as well?
I don't know if mental issues are more common than in other industries. I mean, when I spoke to Amanda, I mean, she's amazing, and as you said, she's used her own experience to kind of create this charity. And definitely, mental health issues are present and are a problem, and people don't have to suffer in silence or to think that comes with the job. Because sometimes what I find is that people think they are sacrificing themselves because they are paid to do it, because they are paid to always be online, because they are paid to be stressed. But that's not the case. Your health doesn't have a price tag. You as a person don't have a price tag, and it's not normal that your job makes you stressed or gives you, mental issue, gives you anxiety or depression.
Yeah, I understand, yes.
Mm-mm.
Okay, is there something you want to share?
I would like to share that, this is such a great industry that has got like a tremendous potential to welcome people from all kind of backgrounds, all kind of walks of life. And it's a real privilege and a real pleasure for me to be able to work one-to-one with these professionals. And I really appreciate what they're doing for the world, and they're amazing, basically.
So where can people find you? What is the best way to contact you?
People can find me everywhere because I feel like I'm always online and doing social media, but they can find me on LinkedIn, Cristina Magro, and they'll see my trademark picture of me in my round glasses. They can find me on Instagram at Cristina_lady in the middle. They can find me on Twitter, Cristina_MLITM. And they can find me on my website, cristinamagro.com.
Cristina, thank you very much for this conversation. I loved to learn more about a topic that I'm really interested in, is coaching, of course, and the way that you've implemented it in this cybersecurity world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Erno, and thank you so much for all your work in this space.